Okay. Am I live? Yes, I is. Spaceman, good to see ya. Good luck. Man, this social media team, best idea I ever had. Just gonna say that right now. These guys that are involved in it are doing a really good job. If you haven't, because initially it was just me running Twitter. That being Crasher Queen. Hello everybody, it's Crasher Queen here with MidWest F1 League F2 series running from Baku. It looks like we've got a full 21 driver grid, including myself, which makes it 22 for the lobby solo host this evening, or solo caster this evening. But now that's been said, yeah, social media team, brilliant idea. One of my best. And honestly, by doing it was just kind of to take a little bit off of the responsibilities of me. I just felt like I was doing a little bit too much. Needed to take a little bit of a step back and seeing how many people we have in here that enjoy putting in time into this league. I was in a very easy spot to give people the option of trying to be a part of this league in more than just one way, and social media team has been a really good idea to allow a couple of those guys to kind of show their care for the league into the social media side of it all, and they are doing an absolute bang up job. So bravo to all those drivers in there, you're doing very well. I appreciate all the help. Looks like we're about to get it going here. Like I said, we got a as full as a full driver grid can be. We're about to get underway. But anywho, if you like what you see, make sure you go see it. I mean, yeah, obviously I haven't seen much yet, but where's Tim at? Yeah, Mr. Tim doesn't do the F2 series. But thanks for popping in. Appreciate the chatter anyhow. Hopefully you can stay for the rest of the race and see what the other drivers can accomplish here. F2 can be fairly entertaining. It has a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So be sure to check that one out. Check out this stream that we got for you here today. One shot qualifying to come here, as a lot of the league usuals know. This is my favorite track. I love Baku, and it just stamps my love for it even more with this past week's race. It was an absolute banger of one. Let's be honest here. It was it had almost everything that you could want in a race, and in qualifying too. Qualifying was crazy as well. It's just such a fun track. Like, come on, like the high speed turns, high speed turns, okay, kind of, yes, but I mean like the high speed straights into hard brakes, into the passing opportunities. There's walls, but they don't encroach as much as like Monaco does. Like you gotta be on your game at Baku, and it's just a fun one all around. I personally love 90-degree turns, and I absolutely hit this track with the quickest of pace possible. And early on, HSVDT goes a little bit too deep into turn one, finds himself at the back of the pack. Let's see if he can get himself back up into the top 10. We know he's very capable of it, but we got a pretty good pretty good group of drivers here are going to be competing. Jinnit to win it, Mystic Joker up at the top, Hotspot splitting the two, actually taking first place. JC Blackley finds himself into the top 5 momentarily, actually continues to hold that position. Cake Thomas not too far out as well. Knuckles having a fairly good run so far, as well as Grumpy Old Catman. We'll see if that will continue. Couple of positions keep changing with each corner depending on how well these drivers can take the exit. Hitting that apex is very important. Spaceman giving me the heads up, but it's going to be a dry race throughout, so that's good news. Jinnit to win it, holding on to the top spot a little bit. HSVDT, there we go, we might start losing. Yeah, okay, so we've lost JC Blackley. HSVDT takes some nasty damage going into the castle section there. That's a very tough section to hit perfectly. Right now he's sitting 15th, so some other situations must have happened behind him. Spaceman as well, binning it somewhere, probably around turn 14. That could be a high-paced one. If you missed that one ever so slightly, it can really come back to bite you. We'll switch over to A. Daltonian and see what he's up to in 11th place right now. Currently just finishing up the last couple turns of this track. It takes a fairly clean line. I had no wing smashed it. Yeah, I could tell there, Mr. Spaceman. AE coming over, looking to come 12th. Sui is lagged out of the session. Not what you want to see. 14th. But Jin to win it comes over the line with Pol Mahi. Mahi actually sneaks up there, joining him on the front row. 3 drivers in the 150s. Mystic Joker finds himself 4th. Cake Thomas not too far behind Mystic, a half a second. Impossible 6th. And Ray, I believe, was 7th, and we'll get through the rest of the order. Poor Mr. Jacko couldn't make tonight's race. Seemed to be having a little bit of power failure at the Casa in Australia, but like I said before, we got Jinnit to win it and Mahi Mahi, a couple of Brits up at the top. Hotspot and Mystic Joker coming over in the second row. Cake Thomas and Impossible Bacon third. Ray and the Garris back in the 4th row. Valentine and Knuckles rounding out the top 10. In the bottom half we see Will Ans and A. Daltonian lining up alongside each other. Grumpy Old Catman and Sui, the second Dams, who did leg out for a second there. We should be able to get him back in the lobby. HSVDT, as you can see, crashed a little bit entering the castle section. He's 15th running alongside Chunky Corgi. Mr. Rager, M. Rager 99 in 17th, Crustier T 18th, and I believe that was Uncle Ben's Rice 19th. And then you saw Spaceman and JC Blackley crashing out, and they will be starting at the back of the pack. So lots of potential moves coming up in this race. What's a good British food? I mean, the only one that I truly know is bangers and mash. I'm not a Brit. I mean, now you know, you've piqued my interest. British cuisine. There we go. Well-known traditional British dishes include full breakfast, fish and chips, yeah, the Christmas dinner, the Sunday roast, steak and kidney pie, shepherd's pie, bangers and mash. People in Britain, however, eat a variety of foods based on the cuisines of Europe, India, and other parts of the world. Yes, but fish and chips, I mean, that's a staple as well. I love me some fish and chips. There's a very good fish and chips place in my town, and I absolutely love it. Austin's Fish and Chips. Shout out Austin's. Got a lovely breading, might I say. But anywho, enough with the fish and chips chat. But hey, if you got any more questions, be sure to ask them in chat. I love to try and keep a good mood and conversation going along with the chat. But as for now, we'll have to wait as we are about to get into the race. 5 red lights go out. Jinnit to win it. Seemingly getting off very well. Mahi Mahi is a little bit of aggressive driver. We'll see him probably make a move into turn 1. Yeah, he does, down the inside line. Jinnit to win it, already down into second. Hotspot still in third, holding off. Actually, Mystic Joker does go along the inside line. He's got it lined up into turn 2. Hotspot breaks a little bit too late and gets the back of Jinnit to win it. And I think Jinnit hit Mahi, and Mahi is out of this race very early on. Safety car. Ouch. I'm sorry, but the proof is in the pudding right there. You could see it. It was... Oh, I need to... You know, Hotspot hit Jin, and then Jin hit Mahi. And just... Ouch. That's That's not what you want to see, especially by a very nice move done by Mahi into turn 1. It's all for naught, as he is the first driver out of this session. Safety car, as I did say, is out. We'll have to see who's going to come in for wing changes. That hurts. That hurts the start of the race for sure, but we'll take a quick peek at the position changes. Early on here, 7 positions has been gained so far by Uncle Ben's race. And you see a couple of drivers in the 3 position gains. That be Valentine, Sui, and Spaceman. And 5 drivers, I guess, have dropped position. Ray being 1, AE 2, Grumpy Old Catman 5 positions, and M Rager 99 dropping 3. Man, you got it on point. They do beans for breakfast. Fairly weird, but okay, thanks for the input. Yeah, I mean, I literally just like looked it up, so I mean, I'm not the most knowledgeable about British cuisine, and even being Canadian, I'm not most knowledgeable of Canadian cuisine either. All I know is poutine. Don't sleep on it. So good. Oh my god, absolutely phenomenal. The genius that came up with that deserves a Nobel Prize for discovering poutine. Or Putin. That's how I should be saying it. But, anywho. If you ever have a chance to have some poutine, like, you gotta get it. It is so good. So good. A couple drivers, only one actually opts to pit here, that being the chunkiest of corgis. Dropped a couple positions now back into the back of the pack, but he will get a fresh set of tires. Maybe he might look to try and make them last the rest of this race here. He did start on the super soft, so he's going to throw in a set of mediums and try and make it last out. See what he can do, how many positions he can gain. Man, you got me thinking about food now. Oh my god, I just had a couple Smokies for dinner too. I'm stuffed, but definitely thinking about poutine. Like, oh my god. I was working yesterday, and I was walking. I didn't have lunch. Usually I bring lunch. I'm pretty good with that. I was on my way to, you just, bite the bullet, get some McDonald's. It's right across the street. Get some Mickey Dicks. It is what it is. But then I'm walking with my coworker, one of my good friends actually, and we just walk past this Chinese restaurant, and we look in and we just see, like, all the Chinese food under the heat lamps and them just like tossing out orders left, right, and center, and I'm just like, oh my god, okay, we gotta try that. So as we're standing in line, there's this like kind of smaller, older, Chinese lady, and she's like, oh yeah, it's so good, like, it's $7 for a whole basket, or a whole tray full. I'm like, oh my god, okay, it's like $7 for a little tray. That's pretty damn good. She's like, yeah, even for me, I eat half of it and save it for dinner. And I'm like, okay, lady, like, I'm a little bit bigger than you, probably a whole foot. I can probably polish that bad boy off. When we get in there and order our food, I go for some chow mein. Love me some good chow mein. Get some ginger beef and some sweet and sour pork. Spaceman coming into the pit as well. But he's on the medium, so this is going to put him on the super softs for the rest of the race, or at least he'll need one more pit if he does offer some more mediums. Looks like he's going to throw back on some mediums, so he's going to need one more pit at the end of this race. So okay, yeah, get me the chow mein, get me the sweet and sour pork, get me the ginger beef. Love it. Top 3 for me, easy. Alright, so they get the tray. It's like a decent tray. I'd say it's like a medium-large little tray. Okay. She gets the chow mein and like fills up the whole tray with it. I'm like, what? Like, is she giving me 2 trays? And then she goes to the ginger beef. She gets her ladle and like pushes down the chow mein, so there's like no air in the chow mein. It's all just like a brick of chow mein now. And then tosses the ginger beef pushes down the ladle with it, tosses more ginger beef, and I'm just like shook. Goes over the sweet and sour pork on the other side of the container, puts in the sweet and sour pork, punches it down with the ladle, puts in more sweet and sour pork, and then she's got to like pretty much sit on the bloody lid to close the thing. And she's like, okay, that's $7. I'm like, $7? Like, what? How do you guys even make money? That's $7. Yeah, I didn't. I ate half. That's all I could do. Now, of course, with Chinese food, you're hungry a half hour later. But still, I could only eat a half of the container. And I was like, oh my god. And then I had to be thinking, you know, that poor old lady. She says that she eats half. Like, oh my god. I don't know how she can manage that, but, you know, good on her. A little bit, you know, past her prime, but still able to, you know, chow down on the chow mein. Like, all power to you. But oh my god, I got right home and I polished the rest of it off for dinner. I was just too excited. It was actually so good. Not too much MSG too. It was quality. I was just so happy. And now from this point forward, anytime I'm in the area, you know where I'm going for lunch. Like, it was, you know, I'd like to say it was like one of those little holes in the wall, but it was just a place that I overlooked and slapped me in the face with how good it was. And from this point forward, I'll always be going there when I need some Chinese food in that area. So, a little story from me, from my endeavors in a daily basis. But as we get through this safety car, like I said before, Baku is one of my most favorite tracks, if not actually is the most favorite track for me. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of good viewing areas, and like Monaco, it's got the balconies that you can watch from. It doesn't have it doesn't have a rich history in Formula One, but you know, just the history of the city and the way you drive through it. I mean, they couldn't have. As for street circuits, I feel like they couldn't have done it any better. Singapore, you know, you can take it or leave it. It's got its moments. It's a difficult track, but I just think that Baku, I mean, Monaco's on a class of its own for, you know, difficulty and history and whatnot. So you can't really compare Baku to Monaco. I mean, for racing quality, I guess you give it to Baku because Monaco is very tough to pass by and turns into a pit stop battle. But in regards to just a street course, it's I find it to be the best. Vietnam, I mean, but we never actually raced there. It's just been going to be in this game. I haven't heard anything of it's going to be in the next game. I couldn't imagine because they took out Hockenheim as soon as it was off the F1 calendar. So I imagine they're going to do the same to Vietnam as well. But looking very much forward to 2021, actually, as we kind of bring an end to year one of the Midwest F1 League. Season 3 is over halfway complete now, as we've got over the halfway point. We are nearing our close, but you know, it's been a good year. We're at 173 followers right now on our Twitch channel. We've got over 2,000 views. We've got a fairly decent following for outside viewers, so we respect and appreciate everyone that does do that. Thank you very much. We are well on our way to, you know, to a solid community. Actually, no, I can't say that. We've built a really solid community of drivers. Now we're working on a solid community of fan base. So if you like what you see, be sure to tune in on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays being Formula 2, Thursdays being Division 1, and if you want to check out the other divisions, those are updated and posted up on our YouTube channel, usually on the weekend, so be sure to go check out our other divisions there. But we just continually grow and attract all these really cool people that enjoy racing as much as we do. But anywho, enough with that. We're about to get back into it. We'll get on with Hotspot and see what he can do into turn 1. Actually, impossible. You should be able to get a pretty good view of this battle here. Hi, Crash. Love from Hyper Series. Glad to hear skills appreciated, man. Right now, your boy Vac down in 7th. Decent start. Uncle Ben's Rice and Sui battling it out. Knuckles looking like he's got an overtake on Will Ann somewhere and going into turn 2. They're going to continue to battle it out. Will Ann's is a very good driver, so he surely won't be content with losing a position like that. Already Hotspot is slowly falling away. Mystic Joker right on the tail of Jinnit to win it. Jinnit kind of proved to have some really solid qualifying pace here early on, but we'll see if he can hold off the prowess of Mystic Joker. 4 laps are already gone. We're on lap 5 here in Baku. These drivers all at the front are going to need to pit. Spaceman as well does need to pit, so we'll have to see how that changes everything. So a very early safety car is going to change up the strategies and pit stop times for a lot of these drivers. Your hotspot already outside a second of Mystic Joker. DRS won't be open for another lap, as once we complete lap 6 it'll be open for lap 7. So that won't be aiding the drivers in behind all too much, and the drivers falling a second out have a little bit of a chance to try and close that gap, but seems to be growing fairly quickly. A little bit of a collisions back at the pack. Chunky Corgi. Oh, we got a little bit of a problem in the castle section there. I'll pan over to the drivers. Chunky and Grumpy Old Cat picking themselves up. Spaceman is working his way around. He does have a little bit of damage there. We'll see what he's able to do. Baku can bite you in the butt. What I missed with Mahi. Yeah, unfortunately Mahi made a lovely move on Jinnit going into turn 1, starting P2, but then got himself punted into the wall by Jinnit after Jinnit got punted by Hotspot, and that unfortunately saw the end to Mahi. Sui does a good job of getting some good straight line speed, has the inside lane lined up, but Will Ans is going to try and battle it out. Actually goes very deep to try and get back around, but can't seem to do it. Uncle Ben's race as well in behind, working on Knuckles. What can Knuckles do to try and hold this off? It looks like we actually had for a moment there Mystic Joker getting real tight up on Jinnit to win it. Sorry boys, we got to follow the leaders here, see what they can do. Actually it's Mystic Joker falling just in behind, and we got a little bit of a battle between Uncle Ben's race and Knuckles, as well as Sui tries to go on the inside line of turn 3. Now into turn 4, Sui sends it around the outside. Knuckles is forced to get up on the curb, and doing so loses some much needed downforce coming out of the turn, as well as another position dropping into 10th place. Will ends up into 9th now. Knuckles losing 3 positions in a matter of a couple turns. Still not too far out of this race yet. Top 10 is still a good finish. He's got HSVDT in behind him here. HS on the medium, seeing what he can do. Going to be pitting just after a lot of these drivers here, so the pit stop strategy is going to be a little bit different for him. He's going to, I'd say he'd have the advantage actually in this case, starting at 11th, or actually not, I can't say, he's in 11th, starting in 15th. A. Daltonian and JC Blackley actually battling it out. Looks like JC was able to poach the position away from AE, and AE had the pace coming around going into the hard break of turn 15. You got to watch that curb. But it looks like JC is going to try and pull away here on the mediums. If can AE find himself closing that gap on the straight, he's going to need a really good slalom here. It does a fairly decent job, but it looks like JC is pushing it to the limit and is able to hold that gap at a decent range. AE might be lining up a move into the pit. Yes, he is. AE's into the pit. Will Ann still right behind Sui. We're going to have DRS now. So Will Ans has got to try and line up a good run out of turn 2, and we have another. Is that a VSC? Sorry, I can't see a. Yeah, just a VSC as of right now. So we got to watch it. Usually at least 1 or 2 drivers get a little bit too aggressive on the VSC and find themselves with a drive-through penalty trying to time the end of it. Who's going to get it here? Or is someone going to get a little over-aggressive, like I said? Hotspot currently the highest driver up who's pitted, finding himself in 12th place. There we go. The flag goes green, and oh no, it looks like Rager is the one to get the drive-through penalty. Will Ans gets a very good timing coming through the castle section. getting very aggressive around the outside line. Sui doing his best to give room, but also to defend. But it looks like Will Ans has got the move done and gets the position going through around turn 14, but confirms it through 15. Knuckles and Mr. Rager as well, battling it out. Try and get on that. Looks like Mr. Rager was able to pick up the position. Goes a little bit on the curb and taps the wall ever so slightly. I'm not sure if he was able to hit the winning there, but he may be okay. On to Sui we go. Jinnit is first into the pit out of the leaders. Actually, sorry, Hotspot I guess was. Jinnit to win it second. So we'll see how much of a difference it will make with Hotspot there. Now a lot of these cars are into the pit. Uncle Ben's Rice opts to stay out. HSVDT as well. He's on the mediums. We'll get on board with him. He's going to try and close the gap between Uncle Ben's Rice. He's got some open air ahead of him. You can see him off in the distance, about to enter turn 3. So Hotspot comes out ahead of Mystic Joker, so the undercut works. Mystic sitting on net 3rd position, just inside 2 seconds away from Hotspot. We'll see if he can close that with 7 laps to go. Fresh mediums, Hotspot 1 lap older mediums. Ray seems to be putting a little bit of pressure on the Garrus Vac here. Garrus pitting 2 laps earlier. Shouldn't see too much of a difference, but it is something to keep an eye on. That right now is the closest battle on track. So we'll stay on board with this one for the battle for 9th place. A couple of very familiar faces here in Formula 2, the Garrus Vac and Ray. Vac, of course, is the owner-operator of the Hyper Series Rainbow Six League, which is where our Midwest Reapers compete every weekend. And right now we find ourselves just outside of the playoff spot. 2 points out, 1 win and a loss from the team ahead will get us into the final playoff spot. So something to keep our eye on there with those guys. Wish them the best of luck as they try and get themselves into representing the Midwest F1 League in the playoffs. Garrus Vac trying to break the toe down the straight, and it doesn't look like Ray has enough of a line into turn 1. He's going to opt out and try and take a cleaner apex through the turn. Uncle Ben's Rice comes out and he's going to be racing right out of the pit, trying to match the brake of the Garrus Vac. A little bit of contact there. Oh, and Uncle Ben gets a little too heavy on the throttle, finds himself into the wall. You can see it. He was trying to match the speed coming out of the turn of the Garrus Vac, but I think those tires were still a little bit too new, and just that one hurts to see for sure. But only 2 followers away gets us to 175, which is our goal right now. We want to try and surpass that so we can get on to our next, which is 200, trying to complete that by the end of season 3. So please be sure to help us get there. We very much appreciate all the support. But back to the race, we still have Ray and the Garrus Vac, closest battle on track. Uncle Ben's Rice did kind of stick his nose in that battle for, it seemed to be 1 turn until he got a little bit too jumpy on the throttle. Mystic Joker is slowly closing that gap to Hotspot. JC Blackley still yet to pit, or has he pitted? Stops, yes, so JC Blackley still yet to pit, finds himself up into currently 1st place, but we'll have to see how much that changes after he pits. He might come out at around 10. I think he's going to come out behind the top 10. This is still very close between a lot of these drivers, as well as Ray. It's very close to the Garrus Vac. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to close that gap. Gets a really good run out of turn 19 through turn 20. He's half a second back of the Garrus Vac. Vac can feel the pressure trying to break that toe, but he's into the slipstream is Ray. He might be able to line up. We'll move into turn 1. He's going to get alongside him. Brakes very deep to take the outside line. Maybe a little bit too deep. And yeah, he hits the wall. Just misjudging that turn. Now Will Ans is just right in behind Ray. And Ray's got a little bit of damage. So yeah, Will Ans will be able to overtake him fairly easily. Yeah, damage to the right wing there of Ray, so that one really hurts. He was on for a good finish, but he's surely going to have to pit. Back onto the battle for the final, for net second place in this race. Mystic Joker right now is stuck behind Hotspot. Should be able to line something up into turn 1 here, or maybe even coming around the castle section. That high-speed left-hander, so we'll have to keep an eye on this as we come through. Both drivers take it fairly clean. No contact. Mystic doing well and gets a decent run, but as well as Hotspot. Hotspot's not opening up the gap as much as he'd like. Still a half a second sits the difference between himself and Mystic Joker, and Mystic ever so slightly closes the gap coming into the hard-braking zone of turn 15. Gets just up over the curb, not too much, but enough to still keep the downforce through the turn. I could see him taking that turn a little bit wider there, actually. I think he missed that braking point a little bit too early here. Hotspot does a good job coming through the slalom. 6/10 is the gap between Hotspot. Looks like he's got the straight line speed coming out of the turn, and I think that gap is a little bit too far between these drivers now. Mystic's closing it, but it won't have enough track left going into turn 1. Hotspot still holding on to second place. Going a little bit too deep through turn 1 though, so that's probably a warning. We'll have to keep an eye on that if he puts himself into another position to catch another one, but Baku doesn't really offer up too many of those, and once again Mystic doesn't look like he's got the gap close enough to try and close it into second place. JC Blackley pits right now back in 9th. He is exiting the pit, like I said, around 9th place, and now he's going to be racing right out of it at HSVDT, and Cake Thomas are right in behind him here. The Trident as well as the High Tech just in behind JC on the Super Softs though, so we'll see if he can open up that gap. HS is actually on some fairly new Super Softs as well, so we'll have to see if he can make those into good use. But right now, still the battle for second place. Jinnet to win it, seemingly opening up the gap with every turn between Mystic and Hotspot. Maybe Mystic is ever so slightly being slowed up by Hotspot and might not be able to have a chance at getting the race win here. Both drivers get up on the curb, not too crazy by either of them, enough to get the downforce coming around and hitting a good apex. Now this is a much better exit out of turn 16 for Mystic this time, and he's got the gap a little bit closer, all depending on turn 18 and 19 here. Does a good job. Hotspot taking a little bit deeper of an apex, and it looks like Mystic Joker should be able to get this move done nearly even before the DRS zone here. Gets alongside Hotspot and passes him on the outside, goes into second place. 4 seconds separates himself and Jinnet to win it. Hotspot still has a chance. You can just keep it close here to Mystic. Mystic did a much better job coming through Sector 3 here, and I think Hotspot's getting a little bit over aggressive now and takes a poor racing line through turn 2, and Mystic Joker is going to hold on to second place coming into turn 3. HSVDT setting fastest lap. Cake Thomas extremely close to JC Blackley there. HSVDT not separated by much either, as HS gets real close on the back of Cake. It gets a good run out of turn 2. Now Cake's going to be under pressure here, as HS was in the slipstream, and he's going to actually opt out of the pass on Cake. Didn't feel like there was enough going from him there. Cake is actually kind of slowing up HSVDT a little bit here. Both break a little bit too deep coming into turn 4. Knuckles looked like he actually might have just saved his wing there, but he does not save position 10, as that goes to HSVDT. JC Blackley was able to open up a gap between himself and the other drivers while that was going on. Grumpy Old Catman into the pit. JC right in behind Sui now. And he's actually going to try a maneuver, but Sui brakes late and is able to block it off. A little bit of oversteer. And now with JC Blackley on those fresh super softs is able to get the move done. HSVDT and Cake look to be actually battling a little bit there. Sui's not too far back of JC. Blackley got a really good run out of turn 12 and got an overtake fairly quickly on Sui, even before turn 13. But Sui did a really good job of holding onto some solid speed and nearly had to move back on turn 15, but he should be able to make something back here into turn 1 as JC misses his apex coming through the slalom there. Sui's into the slipstream, and once again, like his older brother Mystic, should be able to get the pass fairly easy, this time going on the inside line. And back into 8th place. Cake actually gets the overtake on HSVDT as well, as the two drivers on the mediums get the better of the two drivers on the super softs coming down the straight. And once again, JC Blackley is going to try and go. Oh, and what is... what just happened? Oh no. I think Crustier T was coming out of the pit. But that was not his race to try and get in. Uncle Ben's Rice as well, DNFing in the pit. Okay, post carnage here. Let's see if I can get a look at HSVDT's wing here. Yeah, he's got heavy damage to the front right. Oh, JC Blackley. So he's coming through the cap. He's got 0 wing. That hurts. Cake seemed to have gotten lucky and out of the situation unscathed. To Sui as well. With the horseshoe, where the sun don't shine. And has no damage as well. 17 seconds separates HSVDT and Knuckles. It's too late for these guys to pit. So I think they're just going to try and ride this one out. Like I said, JC Blackley, no wing whatsoever. We'll see if Knuckles can close the gap here. Currently sits at 16 seconds. It's going to come through the turns. HSVDT has a lot more of a wing left than JC Blackley does, and he's closing the gap. Two full laps does Knuckles have. Mystic seems to have locked up first place. He's growing that gap between himself and Hotspot to 2.5 seconds. Oh, whoa, what happened to HS? HS absolutely lost major time on JC Blackley. He's still got the same amount of wing that he had before. Ray and Spacebound were battling a little bit in the back of the pack, and looks like Ray was able to get the best of him there. Knuckles just trying to hunt down HSVDT. His time is running out. We're on to the last lap here. These boys still have another lap to go, but I don't think he's closing the gap as quick as he needs to. JC is just consistently losing time to Cake Thomas ahead, but Cake Thomas is closing the gap to Sui and might have a chance of an overtake and bow-tassing him for 8th place at the end of this race. 8 seconds separates Knuckles and HSVDT. Can he get it done? HS slowly closing the gap on JC, but not quick enough. Cake actually losing a little bit of time to Sui. I'll keep my eye on that. We'll take our camera and hold it on Knuckles here and see what he can do. Actually, Cake does close the gap majorly to Sui, so Sui must have made a little bit of a mistake. Some oversteer from Sui coming out of turn 11 kind of makes him in a little bit of a tough spot, but as well, Cake gets a little bit going through. Rager is now in a real tough spot as he's able to get out of the way fairly well. Will Ann's actually in a very difficult spot here as he's trying to hold off Sui and potentially Cake Thomas. Sui's going to get DRS. Cake taps the wall, but not a crazy amount. We'll stay on board with Cake and see if he can overtake Sui coming into the line as we have a drag to the finish. Does Will Ans have enough to hold on? Yes, he does. Does Sui as well? Just barely. 0.05 of a second separate the two drivers, and Sui finishes with 8th. Will Ans was 7th, and Cake, seeing the two drivers ahead, come across the line as he will have to hold on to 9th. JC Blackley, of course, involved into the catastrophe that was turn 2. Has to settle for 10th place. HSVDT in 11th. Knuckles, who does close the gap, takes 3.5 seconds off of HSVDT, but that's not enough. And, ooh, there we go. Some battling in the back of the pack here between A. Daltonian and Spaceman. Spaceman keeping it clean. And actually he's forced into it. He's just got some major damage, as well as A. Daltonian chooses to kind of hit the wall as well. And is... the Spaceman's just kind of enjoying his time up to the line here. A. Daltonian comes over 14th. Spaceman, the last to finish it up on the lead lap here in 15th. I'll go through the final order in a second as it pops up for me here. But there we go, we got the final race standings up here. Gin It to Win It comes over the line with the win. Mystic Joker second, Hotspot holding on to 3rd place for the final podium positions. 2 for Tuesdays coming over 4th and 5th. The Bacon-Tine team as Valentine comes in to replace Jacko with the unfortunate situation of his power not being on. The Garris Vac coming 6th, Willan 7th, Sui 8th, Cake Thomas 9th, JC Blackley finishing off the top 10. Into the bottom half we go, we see HSVDT, Knuckles, Ray, A. Daltonian, Spaceman, Grumpy Old Catman, Rager 99, or M Rager 99, and the DNFs go to as follows, that being Uncle Ben's Rice, Crustier T, Chunky Corgi, and Mahi Mahi, with that unfortunate crash going into turn 1 right out of the gate. Not what you want to see, but we are still making our way through these races here. One more to go for the Midwest F1 League in your Wednesday night edition, that being F2 series, which you can always see if you come and join us live every night, coming at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, across the Twitch Twitch channel. Then if you missed our race, be sure to go check it out on we're on Twitch, on YouTube, as we do that the same as well. Everything is updated and posted onto the Twitch page why do I keep saying Twitch? On the YouTube page. Somewhere on the weekends, around Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. It depends. Depends when they get uploaded, but they always get uploaded, so be sure to go check them out if you miss any of the action, as well as go give us a follow on our Twitter or Instagram page. We love to see the feedback, as well as the likes and the favorites. And if you are a charitable man, we are running a charity right now, actually, that being for the mental health awareness, the JED Foundation. They do a really good job over there, and we have raised around 400 American so far, so we're making our way to a pretty good donation from just a casual racing league. So I'm very happy with what we're seeing, as well as a lot of these guys are doing their part and trying to give back to those that are dealing with some difficulties in life, and the JED Foundation does what they can to try and help those people, and we are doing what we can to support that foundation. A couple of good guys here in the Midwest F1 League has set that up and are trying to do what they can, so be sure to go help out. And if you're interested, type into the chat and I can help you and try and figure out a way for you to donate, as we would very much appreciate any outside donations, not just drivers in the league. But we're about to get on to the sprint race here. I think it'll be around 11 laps, and then we'll bring an end to the F2 series for the Wednesday night. But that is not it for your racing here in the Midwest F1 League, as like I said earlier on, we got Thursday night once again live, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. So be sure to come tune in, as I will potentially be joined by Jacko in the booth, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see. May not. And we'll see how it plays out, depending on how his power goes. Luckily, I have power, but I'm also in a different country, so it's likely that I'll have power in comparison to him having power, or it'll be a really weird coincidence. But enough of that. We're about to get back into the racing here. The 5 red lights come up and they go out now. Oh, that was pretty good. Sui is on the start. Will Ans has got the inside line into turn 2. And looks like Gareth Vac gets actually a really good run, and he's trying to take the lead into turn 1. Some contact from all 3 of the drivers as they were kind of locked wheels coming through turn 1. We have chaos in the back of the pack here. Gareth Vac tries to line up turn 1. Sui's already down to 3rd, but Gareth Vac actually gets a poor racing line through it. Disqualified from the session is Crusty. This is not his race. Oh my god. But Sui gets the Gareth Vac, and we'll get on board with the possible bacon and see what he can do. Just a yellow flag in sector 1 here. Sui going a little bit deep, is able to save the wing. Still holds on to 2nd place. The Gareth Vac is going to try and make a move around the outside. Sui blocks it off, comes up over the curb. Gareth tries to open up a switchback. Does a good job and has the pace coming down into turn 5 and goes around the outside, turns into the inside of turn 6. It has done a little bit of contact between himself and Sui. Sui has to back out. 3rd place is where he'll sit. The Gareth Vac gets 2nd place. Mr. Joker didn't win it, holding on to the positions as of right now, as well as Hotspot. Valentine and Possible Bacon, nothing going on yet. Yellow flags in sector 1. I don't know what that was for, as there's no driver in sector 1. But we continue on coming into the castle section. Sui is just in behind the Gareth Vac, trying to get up in the 2nd place. But while this battle is going, Will Ans has grown that gap to already 1.7 seconds. But can Sui try and get back here? It's actually Impossible Bacon with a really good run out of turn 14 into the hard braking turn of 15. None of the drivers get up on the curb. Stay fairly clean. We'll drop back onto Mystic Jokers. He's right in behind Hotspot. Hotspot tight on the caboose of Valentine as well. Valentine can feel the heat of the drivers behind. Sui has already lost a full second to the Gareth Vac. Hotspot. Oh no! Valentine getting a good piece of the wall. Mystic Joker keeps his face fairly well, and there you go, Jinnit to win it, as we've got 4 drivers duking it out down the line here. Hotspot leads the way. It looks like Jinnit's trying to poke himself down the inside line. He's got the move and sends it. He actually gets punted a little bit. We've got 5 drivers actually in a battle here. King Thomas gets a good run out of turn 1 and has got the position going into turn 2. Valentine down the inside line. Jinnit has to send it all the way around deep. A little bit of a contact on the wall. Does a good job to not get too heavy on the contact. Valentine down in 6th place. Jinnit slots into the slipstream, trying to get a little bit of extra pace advantage coming into turn 3, but can't get it done. Valentine able to break late and hold off to the position. King Thomas doing a good job of taking a couple of positions there. The Gareth Vac closing that gap between himself and Will Ans in 2nd place. 11 laps, like I said, make up this sprint race. We're on lap 2 as it stands right now. Just about to finish up sector 1. Jinnit to win it is just hounding Valentine, trying to get back up in 7th place. Doesn't want those drivers to get too far ahead, because he wants to be able to try and pick these guys off. No DRS until lap 3 here. Jinnit gets a little bit too much of the curb there and get a little bit of a corner cut. Looks like Spaceman goes deep into turn 2 coming out of the pit. Not what you want to see. He's going to pick himself back up and find himself back on track, trying to close the gap. Impossible still trying to get around Sui, as Sui currently sits in 3rd. Mystic Joker and Jinnit Twin stuck behind the other Virtusi of Valentine, as these two drivers are trying to get a good finish once again for this Virtusi squad. But still, Mystic Joker is just sitting in behind. Jinnit Twinit can smell a gap that Valentine's just ever so slightly opening. Jinnit tries to go around the outside, but Valentine's just parking his car right in the places that it needs to be. Coming around turn 19, go these 3 drivers. The high tech of Mystic Joker getting a good run out, and they both got the pace advantage on Valentine here. But can Mystic Joker outbrake both of them? He doesn't make a late move to the inside line, but Jinnit Twinit does. Valentine goes deep, gets up on the curb, a little bit off track, a little bit, finds himself back on, not getting any bit of that wall. Jinnit still holding on to 7th place. And now grumpy old Catman gets disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location. So that's 2 cars out real early on. Mystic still holding on to 9th place. Cake finding himself out quite a few positions. Impossible Bacon making Sui work for it. He gets a really good run out of turn 4 and down the inside line going into turn 5 as we enter sector 2 here. It goes around the outs in turn 6. That's chicane. Makes it real tough to get a move done, but he gets the job done. Hotspot as well, trying to make a position up on Sui. Goes for his switchback and gets a better run out of turn 7, and he's got the line going into the castle section. Gets a move coming through the tight quarters there. No mistake can be done in that moment. Mystic Joker still sitting back in 9th. It looks like we got Ray losing a couple positions. He's dropping down all the way to 14th. Might have gotten a little bit of contact with the wall there. Will Ants has actually regrown that gap to himself and Garrus back, as Garrus sits just outside of DRS. Impossible is 3 seconds back and then holding up a good heap of cars behind him here. But importantly, Valentine is on the verge of slipping out of DRS. He's got Mystic Joker absolutely hounding him here right in the back. A little bit of contact with the wall once again. Mystic Joker making some real pace coming out of turn 19 and 20. Cake Thomas has got the move on Sui. Mystic Joker's past him. Jinnit to win it, sorry, is a little bit too far back. Sui tries to re-attack down the inside line, breaks deep, gets right alongside Cake, but Jinnit to win it does a good job just taking a clean line through the turn. Now he's got pressure on Sui coming around turn 2, sends around the outside and actually splits the defense and takes a double on Cake and Sui coming around the turn, as Cake must have got a little bit of the wall and gets overtaken as well by Mystic Joker. Sui though looking to try and make a move into turn 3, but nothing going there. You can see Impossible Bacon and Hotspot battling it out for 3rd place, as these drivers behind are going to like that. They're going to be taking a little bit less quality of a racing line here, slowing their pace up and making it so that these drivers can catch up. As you can see, Jinnit to win it only took a couple of corners right to get into the back of them. Mystic Joker's only gained, actually he's held on to his position from initial race start. Will Ants as well. Sui unfortunately dropping a couple, and he's got Big Bro just in behind him here. Jinnit Twin actually sits just outside, or actually he's brought himself back within a second of Hotspot here, so he'll get DRS. Hotspot is going to try and get that gap close enough to Impossible Bacon ahead, see if he can warrant a move into turn 1, and actually getting a bad line out of turn 19 is impossible, so a pass will be in the cards. Mystic Joker getting Sui fairly easily coming out. Hotspot is going to overtake very easily. Jin and Twin trying to close the gap. Impossible sliding back into 4th place. Hotspot back up into the podium here, looking for a double. He's got a lot of really quick drivers in behind him. Yellow flags. There he goes. I get my board set here. Sui still in behind Mystic Joker now, as Mystic was able to take him early into turn 20. Now he's going to try and close the gap to the drivers ahead. Once again, Gareth Vac works himself just outside of a second here of DRS and brings himself back within, as he is right in behind Will Ans now, as the battle for the lead is very much underway between those drivers. I'll have to keep an eye on the delta between the drivers and see if I can try and pick up on when they're about to pass. Cake Thomas still in 8th place, looking into the position changes, and a major dive by Jinit to win it. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, and Jin ends up conceding a bunch of positions, as that was just a little bit too heavy of a dive there going into turn 7 and kind of forced both drivers into the wall. I mean, he picked his gap and he tried to launch it, but that just wasn't it. Mystic Joker now 3 seconds separates him and Hotspot. He's going to try and close that gap and try and get himself back on the podium. See if we can get those drivers battling once again. Mystic getting the best of Hotspot in the first race, that being the feature earlier tonight, and we'll see if he can do it again. Impossible still in 7th. I think he's got a little bit of wing damage. Yeah, he's got the left side of his wing there. He's got some damage he's going to be dealing with for the rest of this race. On Mahi's having a really good race, works himself back up into 7th. HSVDT is going to get the overtake as well. Mahi getting DRS. Cake Thomas getting Sui down the straight. Got the full car ahead coming into turn 1. Impossible. He's going to try and fight this one out. Looks like a little bit of a love tap to HSVDT, but nothing too much. The better wing is the difference there. It looks like a car is, I think that's Ray, is out in sector 2. He looks like he'd be picking himself back up. Sui's trying to come back at Cake Thomas. Just can't get it done. Once again, Will Ants just holding the Gareth Vac just enough away, but the Cake going a little bit deep through turn 4. But this seems to be okay. A. Daltonian is out of the session in pit. Mahi's up 14th positions off a race start. Remember, he did crash out into turn 1 right out of the gate in the feature race. Will Ans actually had a really close gap between himself and the Gareth Vac for a moment there, but I think Vac took a couple of poor racing lines and finds himself now once again a second out. Hotspot is actually a half a second back of the Gareth Vac. He's trying to battle himself onto 2nd place, and he can see 1st place not too far away. But they don't want to battle too much because they got Mystic Joker just in behind. Mahi gets a move on Sui coming into turn 15, finds himself up into 6th place. It's going to be tough for him to get DRS though, as he needs to make up a 10th on Cake Thomas. And he's slowly but surely doing it. It's just hovering. No, he didn't get it. He's just going to miss out on DRS. The Gareth Vac and Hotspot battling into turn 1. Hotspot going down the inside line as we have a move for position 2. Now we go into turn 2. Hotspot has 2nd place. The Gareth Vac has to slot back into 3rd. He's going to get DRS. Sui gets Mahi. Jinit to win it, trying to get himself back into the battle. A little bit of contact between himself and Mahi, but he's able to keep it clean. Gets DRS out of the turn, but so does every driver under the sun, as it seems, and he won't be able to get the straight line speed coming out of the turn. And Mahi braking a little bit sooner than Jin anticipated, and he had to kind of swerve to avoid there. Once again, back onto the Gareth Vac. Hotspot is draped all over Will Ans. Mystic Joker is just barely outside of the top 3 now. Needs to try and close this gap. Can't let these drivers all get DRS and not him. And there you go. He finds himself already within DRS range. The Gerstvac is going to feel the pressure of Mystic Joker in behind him. Mystic is getting ever so close with every turn. But importantly enough for the Gerstvac is he's still just barely got DRS. Mystic taking his consistent line and just cutting over turn 15 ever so slightly. But now really putting the heat on the Gerstvac here. These mediums are going to start really wearing out for some of these drivers here who have overused them early on. But Mystic Joker seems to be doing a clean race. And even before the DRS, there he goes, DRS wing is open, and he's already got the position on Vac. Actually, Vac as well has DRS. We've got a drag down into turn 1. Vac's got the inside line. Mystic sends it all the way around, trying to get the move done, and does a good job. Has the position. Hotspot wasn't able to overtake Will Ans, but HSVDT gets Sui. Actually, they're battling it out through the turn. HS and I think Sui got a little bit of contact between the drivers, as this midfield battle is still very heated, and some contact between Jinnit and Sui allows Mahi to go in the middle of the two drivers, and now he's dragging Jinnit to win it down into turn 3. Mahi's got his car just slightly ahead. Both of them break deep. Sui actually looks a little bit back at it, and Mahi, I'm not sure if he got a little bit of contact or what, but he absolutely crushes his wing, and you can see he's just getting absolutely tossed around track, smacks into the wall of turn 4. And Mahi, unfortunately, not his night. He's actually still going to battle it out with no wing. The man's a maniac, and he's going to try and drag HSVDT down into turn 7, but HS is going to have the braking power. As I chuckle, it's just Mahi's doing a brilliant job, though. What is a front wing? But here we go, going into turn 15. We got not enough for Mystic. Mystic can see first place. Will Ans has been holding on to first for the longest time here. We'll have to see who can come out of turn 19 with the best pace and who can ruin their run early on. It's all dependent on this entrance into turn 18. Will takes a little bit of a deeper line. Still does good to get some pace, but Mystic Joker has the best speed coming out of the turn, and he's already closing the gap on Hotspot. And the slipstream is helping him out majorly. Will Ans is going to be in some real trouble coming into turn 1 here. Hotspot closes off the middle lane for Mystic. Mystic wanted to try and ride it down the inside line, but Hotspot couldn't get a good enough run coming out of the turn, so Will Ans re-overtakes for first place. Mystic just stuck in behind in third place. Mahi DNFs. I think he DNF coming into the pit. Yellow flag in sector 3. The car is cleaned up. We have HSVDT off in turn 2. Yellow flags in sector 1 as well around turn 3, but that looks like it's nothing. Will Ans still holding on to first. Gerstvac has actually brought himself back into this battle, as he's not too far out of a podium once again. He's done a good job of keeping himself close enough to warrant an attempted pass here. But this conga line 1 through 4, guys, I'm sorry to say, but only 3 of you can finish on podium. I'll leave it up to you to decide who those 3 are. The Gerstvac in a tough spot, just can't get himself the racing lines that he wants, and then once again falls outside a second here. Vacuum himself within DRS. He's just inside 1/10 safe right now. He's got to keep a clean line coming out of turn 18 through 19. Or 18 through 20, actually. He's just barely within. Actually, just falls out. Oh no! Mystic looks like he's got the overtake on Hotspot fairly early coming down the straight. He has DRS. He's not too far separated from Will Ans. Hotspot just ever so slightly closing on Mystic, but Mystic has got the full car ahead. He's going to block off the line here and holds on to second place. Mystic goes up into this 2 spot and can see first place just right at the front edge of his front wing there. Gets a good run out of turn 2, and he might actually be able to get it done in turn 3. A couple passes and a couple of turns here. Working on Will Ants here for first place. Will Ants tries to defend. He breaks late, forces Mystic deep. Mystic actually hits the wall, so does Will Ants. Hotspot sneaks around the inside line, gets second place back. Mystic has got to have some damage to his wing. The Garrus Vac is still right in this. Where's Mystic's wing? Is it damaged? Will Ants is safe, and I think I saw a little bit of right wing damage there. Actually, if I can get right on Hotspot. No, this one. No, this one. Yeah, a little bit of front right end plate damage there to Mystic Joker. The Garrus Vac has a shout still. You can just see the podium. It's just so close. This midfield battle is still going at each other. Sui is just getting overtaken by Impossible Bacon. And Mystic actually launches it down the inside line of turn 15. It looks like Hotspot got a little squirrely coming into the turn and finds himself back. And the Mystic Joker tries to block off the way. Hotspot looks at a switchback. Driver off in turn 13. I'm not sure who that is. Mystic doing a good job even with that damaged wing. Will Ants still holding on to the lead after all of these races. Or all of these laps, sorry. But Hotspot getting a really good run. He's got the straight line speed. He's going to be alongside Mystic. Will Ants trying to break the toe. Hotspot able to break a little bit deeper into turn 1 than Mystic. Contact between the two drivers at the exit point. Mystic now slots back into third. Will Ants still holds on to the lead. His second place is very much up for grabs, as well as third place. The Garrus Vac is just sitting outside of these drivers. He most importantly, he needs to keep it close enough and gets a really good run out of 19 to have a shout. I don't think taking that sort of racing line coming into turn 3 is the best option. Jinnit gets Cake Thomas. Mystic still just in behind Hotspot. Oh, we're so close between these drivers. Vac has just fallen outside of a second and a half, so his third place shout is seemingly gone quiet. Mystic Joker might be able to get into second place. I think first is a little bit too far gone, and a little bit of contact on Hotspot on the wall there. And Will Ants is looking like he's going to come over the line with the win after all the battles in behind him. Jinnit to win it actually gets Vac as well, and he's got DRS down the straight. Will Ants is going to come over with the win in the sprint. Hotspot second, Mystic third, Jinnit fourth. The Garrus Vac just missing out on fourth, as well as the podium coming in fifth. Cake Thomas sixth. Impossible Bacon is going to finish up his race in seventh. Sui dropping 7 positions into 8th. Knuckles back into 9th, picking up a couple spots. HSVDT, I think a crash earlier on, or halfway through the race, pushed him back into 10th. JC Blackley, not the race he was hoping for, coming in 11th as he is just starting Sector 3 here, as well as the other drivers in behind him. But that was a absolutely awesome one. Wow. Gonna let these drivers finish up here. Oh, what happened to Uncle Ben? Uncle Ben looks like he's crashed out in turn 15. I mean, he surely will get points. Spaceman is a lap down. JC comes over the line. Valentine's just finishing up the straight. M. Rager is as well. He'll be coming over in 13th, getting some positions as well with Chunky Corgi. Spaceman is just entering Sector 3, and we'll ride out the rest of his race here. Goes very deep around turn 16. Once again, I think he senses that he's the last driver on track, so he's going to take this one low and slow. But thank you very much for all those that did tune in. Oh, we got a follow, actually. Lizard78 Games, thank you very much. That puts us at 174. We're one away from our goal. Please do follow us if you like what you see. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Lizard78. Appreciative of that. But anywho, that does bring an end to this Wednesday night edition of the Midwest F1 League. Spaceman had no wing that time. That hurts. Ouch. Still points. There's points there, Spaceman. Celebration from Will Ans getting the well-deserved win. Hard fought, might I say. Hotspot coming over second. Mystic Joker in third. The celebrations from all three. A couple of drivers that get a good shout, sort of the Garrus Vac and Jeanette to win it for unfortunately overshooting turn 7 and getting a good chunk of Impossible Bacon coming through the turn, but giving the position back and working himself back up into the top 4. But once again, I'll go through the finishing order, that being with Will Ans with the win, Hotspot second, Mr. Joker coming over with third place, Jeanette to win it, the Garrus Vac rounding out the top 5, Cake Thomas, Impossible Bacon, Sui, Knuckles, and HSVDT finish the top 10, JC Blackley, Valentine, M. Rager, Chunky Corgi, and Uncle Ben's race. Spaceman, Mahi, AE, or actually no, sorry, it ends with Spaceman finishing on the lead lap. Then the DNFs go to Mahi, AE, Tony, and Ray, Grumpy Old Catman, and Crusty T. We'll go back to the feature race quickly. We got Jeanette to win it, Mystic Joker, Hotspot and Mystic doing the double here. Valentine and Impossible Bacon with that good Vertuzzi top 5. The Garrus Vac 6th, Will Land 7th, Sui 8th, Cake 9th, JC Blackley 10th. Into the bottom half we go, we see HSVDT, Knuckles, Ray, A. Daltonian, Spaceman, Grumpy Old Catman, M. Rager finishing off, who did finish, and then the DNFs go to Uncle Ben's Race, Crustier T, Chunky Corgi, and Mahi. So good stuff from everyone. Appreciate all those that did tune in. Thank you for the follow. Once again, we are so close to getting our goal. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll be able to reach that tomorrow. So one step closer we get. But that is it for us here in the Midwest F1 League for F2, but we will be back tomorrow night with Baku once again with our Division 1, the best of the best that we've got. So be sure to tune into that if you enjoyed what you saw. Check it out on YouTube. We appreciate all the views there as well. Division 2 gets posted right up through there, as well as Fallen Monkeys posts his on his Twitch page, as well as puts it up on the YouTube after if you are interested in Division 3. Twitter and Instagram, like I said earlier on in this, have been absolutely bumping, are doing a very good job over there, so go show some appreciation to those guys, and give us some follows. Give those guys some follows, most importantly, as it is our league page, but they're doing a great job with what they do, so go support those guys that are putting the time and the effort to pump out some quality stuff there. So thank you very much for all those that did tune in tonight, but like I said, that's it for us here. I will hopefully be seeing you tomorrow. I've been Crash McQueen. I've been the Crash McQueen. No, not quite yet. I've been just Crash McQueen. We've been the Midwest F1 League, as that deserves the title. That is it for us here tonight. I will hopefully be seeing you tomorrow night.